ever watch a trailer and feel like the excitement you were promised just evaporated? That's exactly the feeling Landman Season 2 Episode 8's trailer left fans with, and honestly, it's hard not to be frustrated. You scroll through expecting that heart-pounding, edge-of-your-seat tension, only to be hit with a sequence that feels surprisingly flat, as if the stakes of the show itself have been quietly dimmed. But let's break it down, because there's a lot more happening under the surface than just disappointing moments. First off, this trailer opens in a way that almost dares us to feel something big, something game-changing, yet it stumbles immediately by leaning too heavily on the routine setups we've seen in previous episodes. You have Tommy acting like the weight of the world is squarely on his shoulders, and yes, he's grappling with decisions that could make or break the company. But somehow, the trailer manages to compress all that tension into a series of rapid cuts that leave you more confused than invested. And then there's the interaction with Rebecca, which should have been a dramatic high point, given how precarious her position has been throughout Season 2, but even here, the trailer glosses over the emotional nuance. We see her reaction, we see Nate's calculated moves, yet the pacing robs the moment of any real weight. What's particularly striking is how this trailer treats the characters' personal stakes. In the show itself, every decision, every conversation carries layers. Tommy balancing company survival against personal loyalty, Cooper and Ariana navigating the emotional minefield of love and expectation. Even minor players like Charlie and Angela contribute subtle shifts to the narrative tension. But the trailer, it reduces that complexity into something almost schematic, ticking off boxes rather than letting the audience feel the emotional reverberations. And yet, if you look closer, there are hints of brilliance buried within that compressed format. Tommy's expression when confronted with a company crisis, the way Rebecca's fear flickers into calculated determination, the subtle tension between Nate's authority and Tommy's moral compass, all of these are fleeting, but they signal that the episode itself might have far more depth than the trailer suggests. In a way, the trailer almost teases us by withholding the full gravity of the stakes, which is both frustrating and strangely effective. It makes you want to watch the episode to fill in the gaps, even while leaving a sour taste of unmet expectations. And yes, it's easy to criticize the trailer as flat or underwhelming, but that doesn't mean the episode itself is failing. It's just that the marketing here has chosen brevity over impact, speed over suspense, which is ironic for a show that thrives on careful, deliberate tension. As we move into the actual content of Episode 8, we start to see how the characters' arcs are quietly converging toward a tipping point. Tommy, despite the trailer's shortcomings, is still facing decisions that could irreversibly alter the company's trajectory, and his hesitation, his moral uncertainty, is palpable. Rebecca's storyline, which the trailer superficially flattens, actually carries an immense psychological weight. Her intelligence and foresight make her cautious, even paranoid, but this paranoia is not unfounded. Every choice she makes is fraught with consequence, and the trailer, by condensing these stakes into quick cuts, almost does her character a disservice. The interactions between secondary characters like Nate, Cammy, and Galliano also hint at underlying tensions that the trailer doesn't fully explore. Nate's calculated, almost manipulative moves suggest a chess-like strategy, while Cammy's reliance on Tommy introduces both urgency and emotional complexity. And then there's Galliano, whose presence alone signals a looming threat to stability and success. But again, the trailer flattens his impact, giving only a glimpse of the potential chaos he can unleash. What's fascinating, though, is how these compressed moments in the trailer set the stage for audience expectations. Viewers walk away thinking they've seen the high points of Episode 8, when in reality, these moments are only the surface. The real tension lies in the interplay of strategy, emotion, and timing, the way Tommy must balance corporate responsibility against personal loyalties, how Rebecca's insights could either save or sabotage critical decisions, and how secondary players moving deeper into Episode 8, it quickly becomes clear that the trailer's so-called flatness is really just a trick of compression. The episode itself wastes no time ramping up the stakes, and almost immediately, we are confronted with the reality of just how precarious things have become for Tommy and his team. Every conversation, every glance, every pause carries weight, and the brilliance of the writing is in how it layers tension over tension. Take, for instance, the dynamic between Tommy and Nate. What seemed like a simple conflict in the trailer actually unfolds into a series of psychological maneuvers, almost like watching a high-stakes chess game where each piece moves with intent. Nate is calculating, deliberate, and frighteningly intelligent, and his interactions with Tommy highlight the delicate balance of power within the company. You can see Tommy struggling to maintain authority, to make morally sound decisions while under pressure from someone whose every word could tip the scales toward disaster. And while the trailer condensed this into a few fleeting shots, the episode allows us to dwell on Tommy's hesitation, his internal struggle, and the subtle signs that he's aware of just how close the edge he's standing on really is. Meanwhile, Rebecca's storyline explodes in ways the trailer didn't even hint at. Her intelligence, which is usually her greatest strength, becomes both a weapon and a vulnerability. She's constantly assessing risk, calculating outcomes, and preparing for contingencies, yet the emotional toll is undeniable. The episode gives us time to see her fear, her frustration, and her moments of quiet triumph as she maneuvers through what feels like an impossible web of obligations, loyalties, and expectations. And then there's the matter of Cammy and Galliano, which the trailer almost entirely underplays. Cammy's expectations of Tommy create a pressure cooker scenario. She trusts him, she relies on him, and yet he is painfully aware that he may not have the tools, the authority, or the clarity to meet those expectations. Galliano, of course, is the ultimate wild card. Every word he utters, every expression he flashes, carries an unspoken threat, and in the full episode, his presence is almost suffocating. Unlike the trailer, which barely scratches the surface, the episode lets the tension build organically. Galliano's subtle dismissals, the way he undermines morale without overtly attacking anyone, and the quiet way he sows doubt, all of this adds a layer of psychological suspense that is genuinely thrilling. And while the trailer tried to create shock moments through rapid cuts and dramatic close-ups, the episode shows that true tension is earned through pacing, through letting the audience sit with the weight of decisions, through letting us feel the consequences before they even fully materialize. Cooper and Ariana's subplot, which was only lightly hinted at in the trailer, also becomes more compelling than expected. The episode highlights the contrast between Cooper's emotional intensity and Ariana's grounded, almost pragmatic approach to life and love. Their dynamic mirrors the larger themes of the show, the clash between ambition and pragmatism, emotion and calculation, impulse and strategy. Watching them navigate their relationship adds emotional resonance that offsets the corporate and legal tension, creating a multifaceted narrative that engages the viewer on multiple levels. And while the trailer gave fans the impression that Episode 8 might be boring or underwhelming, the truth is that the episode is densely packed with conflict, revelation, and character development. Every scene, even those that appear mundane on the surface, carries significance. Tommy's decision-making, Rebecca's strategic foresight, Nate's manipulations, Galliano's subtle threats, and the emotional undercurrents between Cooper and Ariana, all of this combines to create a narrative that feels alive, unpredictable, and high stakes. In fact, it's almost ironic that the trailer seems so flat because the episode is a masterclass in building tension without resorting to cheap shocks or gimmicks. You feel it in your gut. The constant pressure on the characters, the potential for disaster at every turn, the delicate balance between success and failure. And it's not just the major players who drive this tension. Even minor interactions, the passing comments, the casual exchanges, and the reactions that appear almost incidental at first glance, all contribute to a tapestry of suspense. By the time the episode reaches its midpoint, it's clear that the trailer did a disservice by compressing what is, in reality, a carefully constructed escalation of stakes into a few superficial highlights. Fans who walked away disappointed were missing the subtle genius of the episode's pacing, the deliberate build-up, and the way small moments reverberate into major consequences. Section 2 of the episode